What's good, fam? Drake is losing his grip on reality while the rollout for his upcoming project turns into a massive disaster that he is solely responsible for. We are watching a man who used to be the most calculated player in the industry, but he is now trapped in a cycle of panic and terrible choices after Kendrick Lamar humbled him. The excitement for his 9th studio album, which the streets are calling Iceman, has turned completely sour because he can no longer hit a single deadline. Everyone was convinced a surprise drop would land on March 6, 2026, since that was the specific date fans circled as his chance to reclaim the throne. Instead of fresh music, we got nothing but silence from the OVO camp, and that silence proves the internal chaos has finally reached a breaking point. Things were confirmed to be a mess on March 5th, 2026, when the Insider Hub account on X reported the project is delayed with no end in sight. This is a massive failure for Drake because it reveals he is terrified of dropping anything that is not an instant hit, and that fear comes directly from the beating he took during the Kendrick beef. By March 9th, 2026, industry insiders were saying he is reworking the entire tracklist for the 4th time because he hates every single thing he has recorded so far. It is embarrassing to watch someone who used to be so confident now acting like a nervous rookie who is scared of his own shadow in the booth. He is trying to fix a brand that Kendrick demolished, but these constant delays are making the ice melt even faster on his career. The pressure of matching the artistry and cultural impact that Dot delivered is breaking him down while he desperately tries to stay relevant. This is exactly what happens when you build a career on being an untouchable king and then someone shows the world that you can bleed. The delays were just the start of the nightmare because things turned dark when reports hit that hackers are holding the Iceman album hostage for a massive ransom. DJ Akademiks blew this extortion plot wide open during his live stream on March 9th, 2026, and he revealed that some dangerous people have serious files from the project. Akademiks looked stressed out while explaining that these hackers are holding the music for money and they are not playing around. They secured a large portion of those Iceman sessions, and they are threatening to dump everything online for free if Drake does not pay up to keep them quiet. Seeing the biggest rapper in the world getting bullied by anonymous hackers is wild while his team tries to find a solution that does not cost millions. This ransom mess forced him into the version 4 pivot where he has to delete songs from the track list the second they leak out to the public. He seems so insecure about his work that he changes the whole album every time a snippet drops because he is scared of people hearing unfinished material. This is a crazy contrast to how Kendrick Lamar handled the GNX release because Kendrick moved with total precision and kept control of his narrative. Kendrick did not have to worry about leaks or ransom demands because his camp is solid and his foundation is too strong for a random person with a laptop. Drake is playing a losing game of whack-a-mole with his own music, and it shows how fragmented his team has become since his empire fell in 2024. Those hackers are promising to release the full project files if they do not get paid, which would be a final blow to a legacy hanging by a thread. Drake is basically a prisoner to his own creation, and every leaked verse reminds us that he no longer controls the industry narrative. Watching a mogul look this desperate is nasty work while he tries to act like the 6th god when we all know he is just running out of time. These hackers are deciding when and how his music gets heard, and that is the ultimate disrespect for an artist who once had the whole world waiting. If he pays the ransom, he looks weak, and if he does not pay, then his entire project gets ruined in a lose-lose situation he brought on himself. Moving sloppy like that is what happens when you try to rush a comeback instead of taking the time to make something that actually matters. Kendrick is likely watching this circus with a big smile. The boy is doing all the work for him and proving every day that the crown was never really his to keep. The situation hit a boiling point in late February of 2026 when DJ Akademiks played Iceman snippets on his stream for thousands of people. Akademiks basically sabotaged the rollout by showing that Drake's inner circle is as leaky as an old pipe, which gave a green light to every hacker sitting on stolen files. This move destroyed any chance of keeping things under wraps because it sent a message that the music was fair game for public consumption. Drake felt beyond tight and incredibly angry with Akademiks for compromising the security of the most important rollout of his career. The boy likely felt like his #1 fan was stabbing him in the back for views, and it is absolute **y to be this sloppy during a comeback. That Instagram post from February 24th 2026 that just said Iceman 2026 felt like a weak move at Damage Control, and honestly, the fans saw through the act immediately. He tried to play it cool like 2026 was always the vision, but the reality is he just wanted to distract everyone from the fact that his music is leaking everywhere. The element of surprise is the only thing that gives a superstar like Drake any real leverage in this business. And now that the surprise is gone, he is basically standing out in the rain without an umbrella. He has zero power to dictate the terms of his own release because the hackers already know what the music sounds like, and they know he is desperate to keep it hidden. This situation is a massive blow to his ego because he prides himself on being 10 steps ahead of everyone else in the industry. Now the boy is just reacting to things that are completely out of his control, which is a direct result of the chaos that started when Kendrick Lamar took his head off back in 2024. When you track the timeline from that August 2024 100 gigs dump up to this current fourth version of the album, you see a man who is totally spiraling. He keeps throwing every single idea at the wall to see what sticks, yet nothing is hitting with the cultural impact he needs to shut down the Kendrick fans. Those Iceman episodes, live streams were marketed as this innovative way to connect with the base, but they ended up being a massive embarrassment for the whole OVO brand. Specifically, the third episode from November 17th, 2025 was a complete disaster that proved how much he is struggling to find a solid vision for this new era. He looked totally distracted on camera, while the music he teased sounded like a generic version of the songs he was making 5 years ago. The whole thing felt like a low-budget vanity project that nobody even asked for, and it did absolutely nothing to build any real hype for the actual album. Before we move on and see how he is out here fumbling these global hits, tell me what y'all think. Were those OVO streams the biggest embarrassment in his career, or is there still hope for the vision? Tell me in the comments, no cap. While you at it, hit that like and subscribe button. Let's continue with this Central C disaster. Even his attempts to manufacture global hits are falling flat now, and it is wild to see the former Chalk King struggling this much to stay relevant. The song, which won featuring Central C, was supposed to be a monumental moment for the culture, but it underperformed because the chemistry between them just felt non-existent. The fans could smell the desperation in that collaboration from a mile away, and it felt like a forced attempt to tap into the UK scene because his domestic numbers are getting shaky. The track What Did I Miss was another huge failure that failed to generate any real conversation because it felt like a safe and boring response to everything he has been through. He is scrapping these versions because he is absolutely terrified that the music will not measure up to the legendary status he had before the beef started. People close to the industry are reporting that he is back at the drawing board for a fifth time because the ice is officially melting on his relevance. He is starting to understand that the world does not revolve around his schedule anymore, and that realization is making him overthink every single bar he puts on paper. The pressure of trying to outdo Kendrick has turned his creative process into a nightmare of constant delays and second guessing. He would likely give anything to go back to 2023 when he was still the undisputed king, but those days are long gone, and the hackers are just the latest reminder of his downfall. Every time he tries to fix one part of the album, another part of his reputation starts to crumble, which is a hard pill to swallow for someone with an ego that big. The boy is crashing out in real time, and it is honestly savage to see how far he has fallen since Kendrick put him on a t-shirt. He might try to pivot one more time, but at this point, the fans are getting tired of the games and the constant excuses for why the music is not ready. The massive success of Kendrick Lamar and his latest project, GNX, created a level of pressure that Drake was not ready to handle during this current year. Kendrick basically pushed the bar for the industry so high that every track Drake tries to drop now sounds like a generic grocery store version of real hip-hop culture. While Kendrick moved with a sense of absolute purpose and a clear artistic vision, the boy is out here looking like a man trying to find his car keys in the dark while his entire house is burning down. You can see the massive difference in how these two men approach their legacies because Kendrick remains focused on the actual craft of songwriting while Drake is purely focused on trying to save his damaged reputation. The constant delays for the Iceman project are a clear sign that Drake is officially ducking the competition because he knows for a fact that he cannot out-rap Kendrick Lamar on any day of the week. Looking at the rest of the industry makes the OVO brand look even more pathetic because major artists are moving with a purpose while the boy just flails around for any scrap of attention. J. Cole is currently constructing his final project called The Fall Off with a level of dignity and cultural respect that Drake clearly threw away years ago. While younger stars like Baby Keem execute calculated moves that feel fresh and modern, the OVO camp remains trapped in a fragmented cycle that belongs back in the past decade. This new generation already knows all of his old tricks, and his main rival already exposed every deep weakness for the entire world to witness. The messy rollout for the Iceman project provides all the proof we need that the boy is absolutely terrified of people comparing his work to the greatness Kendrick just displayed on his recent project. Every single day that this album stays locked inside a vault represents another moment where the public realizes they do not actually miss his presence. A complete stranglehold on the summer season, and the music charts used to be his reality, but today he is just a man getting extorted by random hackers, while the people who used to worship him simply look the other way. Unless this Iceman album drops immediately and delivers a level of quality he has not reached in years, his crown will be completely deleted from the history books instead of just slipping off his head. He currently fights for his life in a room with no exits, which means the hackers are the ones holding the actual key to his cell while his legacy burns. This feels like a pathetic ending for a person who spent over a decade telling the world how untouchable and superior he was to the rest of the hip-hop industry. No amount of social media distractions or cryptic Instagram captions can hide how the culture transitioned towards something more authentic than anything Drake offers in 2026. These hackers represent a symptom of a much larger problem because the boy clearly lost his grip on the game he once dominated with ease. Standing right at the edge of a steep cliff, the music he is so terrified to release represents the only thing that could pull him back from the brink. If the new tracks just consist of the same tired tropes and hidden disses we have heard a million times before, his fall will happen much faster than anyone in the industry predicted. Playing a dangerous game with his own reputation has led to this moment where it looks like the hackers will have the final word on how this chapter ends. The belief that he could just wait until the Kendrick hype died down turned out to be a mistake because the world realized how much better the music sounds when a real soul sits behind it. The boy keeps trying to manufacture a moment he no longer has the power to create alone, and the results look more desperate with every passing day. Remaining trapped in a cycle of his own making has left him too scared to lead, but still too proud to follow anyone else. This marks the final loss for a career built on a foundation of being the biggest and the best because he is currently neither of those things. Before we move on to see if the boy has any more tricks left in his bag, tell me what you think about this entire mess in the comments. I want you to tell me if you think Drake is officially washed and should retire before he ruins his legacy even more than he already has. Let me know if you actually believe he can survive these hackers and drop something that makes the world forget about the generational beating he took from Kendrick Lamar. While you are down there at the bottom of the page, go ahead and like and subscribe so you do not miss the next breakdown of this absolute circus. We will keep watching this play out because the boy is definitely running out of time and the ice is almost gone.